For my project, I decided to purchase a green screen for my animation, using a combination of both stop motion techniques, using models and 2D backgrounds for the environment with the additional use of props and stop motion form. I decided to use three sets of lights, two desk lamps and my bedroom light, to give the models a relatively good light and exposure, despite the low budget constraints and lack of materials which would usually be provided by my university. I also had no camera, so I had to set up with my phone, propped up in a higher position on a box held in place by spare scraps of plasticine. I researched how to use a green screen as I'd never used one before, but I wanted to challenge myself as well as develop a skill that is commonly used in the industry. I did a test where I recorded my hand moving in front of the screen and uploaded it onto After Effects. I then clicked on Effects and Presets and typed in Key, which showed multiple different options. I used the preset of Key Light, Key Cleaner, and Advanced Spill Suppressor, which I dragged onto my footage in the timeline. I was presented with the key light effect controls. I used the colour finder and clicked on my green screen, which selected the colour to change. I went on the screen view and changed the intermediate result to screen matte. This turned the screen colour to black and the other element, my hand, white. I could change the intensity and gain of the blur by using the screen gain tool to remove any excess noise from the video footage. I then increased the intensity of the white so the green couldn't be seen behind my hand, as a mistake would make it look see-through. If I couldn't find the issue, I used the key cleaner tool and the preset options. I removed the noise from there as an extra measure, sometimes using the channel settings to alpha to identify any spare noise that I hadn't picked up.
I then uploaded a file that I had animated earlier as a 2D animation experiment and placed it into the timeline below the test footage. Although there is some clear imperfections on my sleeve, the effect worked and I could progress to animating with the green screen. I animated my character using my phone. I wanted to use basic movement as I had not animated with it before. Although it was a bit top heavy, I resolved this by adding some weights to the bottom of his feet to keep him planted on the floor. I animated him waving to the camera as my first trial of animating. I imported the images into After Effects and used 12 frames a second as I didn't want there to be any changes in the footage. I exported this as an MP4 and exported the footage into another After Effects composition. I used the same techniques as before and put in some free stock footage behind the character. As you can see, I had not properly changed the key light effect so the character was see-through. I had to use the alpha channel and the key cleaner to resolve this. That being said, I really liked the effect that it created. I decided to animate my wolf model, taking individual photos for frames with my phone. I thought the fur would not work well with the green screen, however after a bit of editing it became crisper. An issue appeared when I was animating the fur that I had stitched onto the wolf, and it made the model's movements really stiff and difficult to move, and I realised I shouldn't have stitched the fur's joints together. As I have discussed before, I don't like the wolf model, although I do like the movement of the fur on its body and the face as it moves. After the initial failure that was my wolf model, I decided to try and go in a different direction. I created an origami wolf and attempted to animate it. It was difficult to move the back legs, but seeing as it was only an experiment, I didn't allow this to stop my creative process. I wanted to have physical environments, so I created a makeshift forest using bits of Christmas tree, a bit of wood and a jacket I found for some ground texture. I then moved the wolf frame by frame across the screen. I used my green screen and added a video of a forest to add some atmosphere to my animation. I liked the effect the wolf had when it passed through the scene, because as I imagined it as an abstract metaphor of my depression, I thought an origami wolf would work better and more effectively than a modelled one with fur.